I'm not going back and forth with a man who thinks that they should be in my position. If you want to be in my position, get in my position.
Do you believe that?
Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show, special live edition here at Bluff City Media Studios. First time ever we've been live doing this. Nothing special going on. Brother just got PTO time. I don't go back to work, Daniel Greer, until the first of the year. My emails are cut off. My calendar says I'm out of office. I'm using this opportunity to do nothing better than bring on one of my very good friends in the industry. Just met this brother this year. Daniel Greer from Grizz 901, the post-game show of the Memphis Grizzlies. The best post-game experience you'll ever have. Him and my boy Nate Quarles do it big. They pull out the champagne after wins. Good show last night as well, man. Great vibes in the city. Y'all know what we're here to talk about. Y'all know we're here, of course, to talk about Ja Morant, who had an incredible game last night. I was watching it last night at Hooters at the watch party. Had another one Tuesday, by the way, playing the Pelicans again. Make sure y'all come check that out. But we're going to talk about nothing but Ja Morant today. We're not doing this is one big sit down with Sain, with my man Daniel Greer. We're not doing inside the same brain. We're not doing the three-pointer, none of that. Just strictly Ja Morant today with my boy Daniel Greer. He looking real dapper, looking like the Grizz company man he is himself. Look like you have to carry some, some Taylor Jenkins water in this joint. Y'all know it's coming you know it's coming for the day is over. But Greer, you my guy. Appreciate you coming in with me, man, for sure, to talk about an exciting night, crazy night last night, man. Like I said, we were watching it at Hooters. A lot of people showed up. People started tapping out on me at halftime, man. I appreciated them coming out. People tapping out at halftime. The real ones hung on and stayed, and we had a party down, not on Bill, but, right there by Bill last night for sure.
Let's talk about halftime, all right? So halftime, you're sitting there just pissed off, right?
Talking about me personally?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're down by,
shout out to Waffle House,
was it 19? I think we're down 19 at that point.
If not for a Vince Williams corner three at the bus.
And so, like, your thoughts on that feeling, because I try to always go back and look at, hey, this is a great feeling. Mm-hmm. What's my thoughts on that? So the first half, your thoughts at halftime as a fan of this team. Now we know what happened, but at that point, what are your thoughts at that point?
It was not a good feeling at all, man. Right. You're down 19, could have been 22 if not for that last second three by Vince Williams. I saw Ja kind of get into his groove, trying to find his way. I was going crazy in the second quarter because my whole thing was with Ja Morant, you kind of have to know when to bring him back.
Yeah.
And you set Ja down in the middle of a run. It's like you should have kind of, the whole thing with you're playing Jess Bain and then Jaren and Ja together, when I feel like it should be both of them on the court at one time.
Okay.
I know this is the first game, all those kind of things to figure out. My thing was, look, unless Ja's out there with a action for resuscitation, let him play, man. I mean, he's been out since April. You know what I mean? Right. So even though he may not have been in basketball shape, he played damn near the entire second half. You know what I mean? So my thing was, let him go out there. He's had plenty of rest, and he could have got plenty today. You know what I mean? So that was my thing, doing that run with Taylor Jenkins. But Ja did come back in the second half and do, Ja Morant type shit.
So on that, so I saw a lot of people on the timeline. And if you're here, hit the comments up, obviously, because we want to answer as many comments and questions.
Ain't answering this shit.
But
we already got one about you.
About who, me?
Chris Ingram said, DG is spiffy, ain't he?
Man.
Let's hit on the Ja when he was pulled out, right? 3 minutes and 18 seconds is all that was.
Oh, your water, buddy.
It was this is the Kirkland, Taylor Jenkins white boy Kirkland signature. Yeah. This is the Jenkins signature water.
And I got the Waffle House for the people water over here. People versus the system. Go ahead.
All right, so let me ask you the question. All right, so you're obviously, Ja is just coming back, and it's his first game back, just as everybody understands that. When you do take him out, he's only out for 3 minutes and 18 seconds of that entire quarter. They do go on a 16-0 run while he's out. How would you do it differently? Because honestly, like, you have to get him out at some point. He can't play the all 48.
I would bring him back after the 8-0 run.
Okay, so you're saying a minute and a half earlier.
Right, exactly. If that's what but we saw him in the second half play the hell out of Ja, and they came back from 20 down.
So This isn't about Taylor Jenkins.
Right.
I'm just asking about what would you do as a personal coach or a person in general.
I would have been like one of the best players in the world is sitting here beside me.
Okay,
while
so
I'm down 18.
You're going to get him out again, right, at some point, because you need to somehow find rest times. This isn't a playoff game, but this is an important game. So you're saying, like, hey, bring him back. Maybe he stops the bleeding. Take him out again, and then hop him back in again.
Right.
I know players don't necessarily like that, or maybe they don't dislike that. That's not their rhythm, their routine.
Right.
But if you then saw the adjustment that was made, is they went to him and leaned on him because they felt like they needed him in that second half. So I think you can give a little bit of criticism, like you're saying, but I also want people to understand it was 3 minutes and 18 seconds. It's not like it was like an 8-minute period. They're like, hey, the
and
dude
during
was
that
just
time,
out.
Bane was terrible during that time.
And that's the problem is I think it was more of Bane if you really look at it.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks is Bane was not Bane last night in the first half.
Even with he finished with I think 21 points. It still wasn't. Yeah.
In the second half, I think he was 2 for 10 at halftime with 3 turnovers. And I don't know what he ended up with, but you're talking about a guy that shouldn't be like that. He was probably had the tougher time adjusting than Jaren did. I know I talked about that last time.
Jaren looked good.
Jaren looked a lot better with Ja. He
Yeah.
was more, I guess, he enforced his will. Even on a guy like JV or Zion or even Herb Jones, whoever's playing against him or BI, like it was a guy who felt like he could be more comfortable. So I was wrong. It was more of Bane trying to find his rhythm in that because it had the ball in his hand.
Yeah, it was. You definitely saw that for sure. That Bane did seem to be trying to adjust the job being out there. I think another thing that was just crazy. Shout out to my boy Xavier Dotson, who put out a nice video today talking about how the offense looked different with Ja on the court. And it was that play. It was a play where Ja cuts to the basket. Everybody collapses, and you got Devin Bane wide open in the corner. I can't remember who the big was. It was I can't remember who the power forward
White
was.
guy.
Zeller. Yeah, he steps off and he just gives a quick second to dump the ball off to Bismack, and he gets a bucket. That was not happening before Ja got there, man. And shout out to Zay again for a great video, just showing those type of things. Ja being on the court makes things easier for literally everyone. We saw a Xavier Tillman corner 3 go down yesterday with Ja on the court.
Wait,
man.
He made one last night?
Yeah, he made one.
Yeah.
Man,
It looks smooth.
the Ja effect is crazy, bro.
It's real, man. And I love it. And you saw Ja in the past, like we all can admit, there's been so many long stretches of play where Ja was doing good, but it just kind of felt disjointed. He didn't really know when to get going, when to get other guys going. But to see him and Jaren playing good at the same time was crazy. Because you remember, I think the Grizzlies were down 5 maybe, and he hit Jaren for a big time corner 3 in the last minute of the game, and Jaren splashed it. You know what I mean? So seeing those two guys play well together yesterday was definitely one of the highlights for me. But Ja had great energy, like I said. He was really going at guys, Herb Jones and what's the other guy? Riley Curry.
Dyson Daniels.
I know I'm terrible with names.
Dyson
Daniels, yeah.
He said Riley Curry.
Like Ja was,
talk to that man, please.
does he not look like Riley Curry?
I saw that on the timeline, and that is very funny.
He looks just like him, man.
Wow.
Man, I said Riley Curry.
And Herb Jones looks like Lucas from Stranger Things, right?
Yes,
He does.
that is.
He does.
Yes.
Man, come on,
Yes.
man. What are we talking about? Like, I've been saying it for years. But Ja, like for a dude who hasn't played basketball since April to come out on the court and score 34 points, not make 1 3-pointer, and not even take a good-looking 3-pointer.
He was 0-6.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
And
But
to
yes.
score to have a game like that, man, incredible effort by Ja Morant. And his team looks freaking phenomenal, man. Like I said, I don't really care about playoffs. We'll talk about that more in the second segment. I don't care about the play-in. That looked like fun Grizzlies basketball last night, man. That's what I was amped about. And I went to Waffle House today, me and Gabe, and I just see a full-blown Grizzlies discussion breaks out in the Waffle House, right?
Really?
Man, Ja the best guard in the league, man. Everybody's just talking. Like, I'm like, man, this is what Memphis.
Yeah.
That one man has had the city by the sack, man. You know, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, you know, as far as people being enthused and happy about Grizzlies basketball again. And we saw it last night, man. It was incredible. Shout out to the people at Hooters once again. After the Tiger game was over, the watch party had a whole nother crowd of people came in with Tiger gear on. They came to watch
That's
Ja.
awesome. Yeah.
And we just had a party last night for sure, man. And like I said, Ja is such a big deal, man. He makes everybody's game look better.
Yeah. Even Bismack Biyombo.
Yeah, he made Bismack Biyombo look like I don't know who you had him out there looking like.
I have a question for you, Sain. Before we go even deeper into the game, what was game day prior to the game like for y'all? Waking up knowing that 12 is back. What was it like for both of y'all?
The excitement level was crazy on Twitter, man. Everybody was excited. You saw some top tier memes coming out, top tier video highlights of John stuff. You just because we kind of forgot, man. You know what I mean? You're talking about almost a year ago since we saw Ja play basketball back in April. And when you saw some of those highlights again, and then just heard him talking and coming out on the court, warming up, all those type of things, it's like you forgot how good this dude was, man. Like when you saw a Zaire Williams alley-oop play, like, oh shit! Like I forgot.
He made this good again.
He made Zaire look like non-trash, like for the first time ever. Poor David Wright, the job fix just has no effect on him at all.
Yeah, none.
But it was just good, man. Like he reminded people why he's one of the better players in the league for sure. Just the way you have to react to him, man. This is you saw a Grizzlies team play against a Pelicans team that has a ton of athletic defenders out there. You got Alvarado, you got Lucas from Stranger Things, you got Riley Curry. That's three of them for sure.
Trey Murphy's
he's a good defender too. Those are when teams were playing the Grizzlies a week ago, they were forcing everything on Desmond Bane.
Right.
There were several plays we saw last night where the team was like, "Nah, man, I'd rather leave that dude out there than deal with whatever the hell Ja's about to do." And that's going to play dividends throughout the entire season, especially when you have an engaged Jaren Jackson Jr. And I'll say this, man. People have said things about like, Dylan Brooks and missing Dylan, all those type of things. With this clear core, I think the conversations and the chemistry is more direct and efficient with this group of guys than it was when Dylan was here. Because I don't remember conversations like we had last night where Bane is saying, "No, you're taking the shot." Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't remember those type of plays.
That never happened.
Because we've seen plenty of games where you come out of a timeout and the game ends with Dylan throwing up some ridiculous three.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's not happening now.
Yeah, and John's like, "Oh, I trust my guy." You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was like, Bane was like, "No, dude, the players is you. It's not none of this." You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that those three guys being your clear guys going forward, and those are the three guys. There's no other dude on this team is wondering, am I in that tier with those dudes? No. I think that being said is going to pay off dividends in the future for this team.
Yeah, you got to think like now Bane sees how hard it is to be that guy. And I think this is very much a learning curve of, hey, there's a lot of work that you have to put in to be that guy. And I think he's seeing that. But also I think their chemistry is, some of the best because they are young. They all kind of came up together. And so it was awesome. To get back to what Kenny was asking is, you talk about a waking up moment and realizing like, hey, no matter what happened, they are 6-19. The Grizzlies season kind of starts now. Yeah. You wake up, you feel great, right? You know that you get to see Ja, who you haven't seen Ja. And even then, he still blows your expectations down the water because how smooth he is, how quick he is. It just, even the players that have played against him, such as you mentioned earlier, they still are blown by because they don't see that every day. Right. And they don't see a guy in Ja Morant, his quickness and ability to jump over them each and every day. And so I think that's what we all got to see again. Yeah. And it's crazy.
And something that I'm excited to see. We saw this a couple years ago too. And then it's just started getting frustrating. Y'all remember a couple years ago when Ja came out, he was like splashing floaters all over the place.
Right,
he was killing with the floater last night. And the thing with him is he kind of got away from that and started trying to get all the way to the basket against guys. But that floater, man, when that game-winning shot he took, that shot is always there against no matter who he's playing against. And I hope that's something that in his time away, he said, "I'm going to make this a big part of my game." Because I don't remember any. I don't even remember any dunk attempts from Ja last night. Do you remember him even trying to dunk the ball at all last night?
I don't.
And I'm super excited about it. Like we all love seeing Ja jump over dudes, all that type of stuff, but to see him realize this float is here and I can not hit this on anybody, I think that's a crazy weapon. I think we had a lot of points in the paint last night as well. Yeah. It just changes so much, man. Like we would get excited for Derrick Rose showing like semi flashes of what Ja is able to do all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just think it's super dope to just have him back and just see how he takes this team to the next level. Because man, if you look at it in a vacuum, Ja had a great game. Ja hit the game winner. But a bigger thing to look at is we were down 20 points at the half, bro, and walked that team all the way back and came back and won that game in just a wild fashion. So, it's exciting times ahead.
Speaking of the points in the paint, you're looking at a 62-50, which is crazy to me that the Grizzlies are now back to normal with a 62
in one game.
Yep. And if you look at I honestly, looking at the game as a whole, if you take out the second quarter, the Grizzlies win the first quarter 25-21, third quarter 36-27, and then the fourth quarter 38-26. Outside of that second quarter was the big run. It was a 16-39 quarter. This Grizzlies team, it felt terrible at halftime, but you're talking about now looking back at it where you dominate a whole half and you really won the first quarter as well. Like, this team is going to be good. It's just they can't have the long stretches like they had. Right. And that's going to be up to Bane and Jaren. And I think what you saw as well is not to get too far into this game, but you're talking about a guy who, can be himself with 4 other role players and still dominate a game. That allows you then to put Bane and Jaren together and let them run with 3 other role players without Ja. But then you also talk about eventually at one point you can add Marcus Smart to there. You can add Luke Kennard into there. And at that point, this team is going to be firing on all cylinders. Yeah. Hopefully it's soon. I don't know, but I'm hoping soon.
Yeah, Chris said something about that on the comments. He said, what makes Ja go back. That 3 should average close to the 3 being Bane, Ja, and Jaren should average close to 80 per night. He goes, then you add in Smart's 13 points per game, Luke's 10 points per game, and Santi's 10 points per game. So we're going to be a good-ass team if they just shore up those margins.
If everybody, 80 is a lot. I was thinking more like 65, 70.
I'd say 70, I feel good, because you're talking about 30, 2020.
Yeah, they had 69 together last night. So, pause. But yeah.
Hey, we do have a big announcement, though. Guess who's in the comment section?
Who is it?
Who?
I'm going to give you one guess. He's a fixture over at Grizz 901 post game.
Nate's over?
No, not Nate. Not Nate. Okay. In the comment section. Goon the Shooter's in the house, man.
Goon, shout out.
What's going on?
And he said, hey, this is what he says. He says, Ja Morant's the next MJ.
I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad at it either.
No. We had joked earlier about the Ja effect, right?
Yep.
With Zaire or Bismack, all those type of things. Someone that I seriously did see the Ja Morant effect with that had me excited was Vince Williams.
Okay.
The stuff like we talked about Zaire a couple years ago when he was a rookie and how Ja kind of unlocked him a little bit. Ja and Vince had some stuff going, man. Because Vince was in there crashing the boards.
Right.
They were, getting the fast break going, hit him in the corner for threes. Vince is a guy who already shows confidence probably above his skill level. And I think a guy like Ja can even take his confidence to the next level. Like, what do you think that looks like, having a guy like Vince Williams who we joke about Timu Melton and all these kind of things. Dude's got a lot of DeAnthony Melton in him for sure. Man.
No, he does. He has a lot of that, but he also has a lot of what Zaire can do as well. I think if you start seeing Vince catching lobs, then yes, we're talking about how Ja.
Oh, the way Zaire will hang his head if he throws that up to him.
He would be dumb.
What purpose do I serve?
I don't.
He's
honestly,
a shoulder rubber. He comes in and shakes guys.
If I could be honest about it, I don't think Ja affects Vince in his game personally. Because I see that Vince can hit that short corner. We saw it with Bane running the offense. We saw, honestly, with anybody. Vince's job is to play defense first and foremost. He then rebounds really well. He hits open shots, but that's really all he does. That is plenty for this team. I don't know if Ja really unlocks him that much, because I think he's getting those open threes no matter what.
Right. I think Ja can give him the confidence to knock those shots down.
The confidence is totally different.
That's all I'm saying.
That's what, if you can get the confidence, yes, I think that's
the seal of approval to shoot that thing.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have that. And I think under this offense in general, I think most of those guys have that, which some don't need to have it. But I would say that Vince does a very good job. I hope that the rest of these dudes that are role players can really dominate and feel confidence, because the minutes are going to start limiting pretty quickly. And I don't know who's going to be left out. It can't be Vince. And I know people are already starting a discussion on the timeline of you move Smart to the bench and leave Vince in. I don't think you can do that. But I do think that a lot of these role players are going to be limited minutes. I think Vince has to be a key player in this team.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about what the rest of the season looks like, and also some of the media responses to things we've seen before this game and after the game last night. But something I do want to talk about is the guy who's killing everybody. And with the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, that's the next game on Thursday. I mentioned him last Friday at the media availability. Yep. That's going to be box office, man. Here in Memphis, Ja said he kept his receipts.
Yep.
Hey, it's time to go back to the store, man. He's going to be at Target with a handful of receipts in FedEx form. Tyrese Halliburton is going to be here. That's going to be crazy, bro. And there's no way Ja is, because he's like, he's still not probably got his legs or got his breath. Of course he hasn't.
Correct.
But he's found his stride. Like he realizes I can still cook the league. And I think he's going to come out going crazy Tuesday. Home crowd's going to be
popping.
It's probably going to be a sellout, huh?
Has to. It better be. If it's not,
it's probably going to be crazy there, man.
And he's going to go for 40, 100%.
And it's going to be like a 99% Grizzlies fan base. It's not like
who are the Pacers?
Nobody's coming down here to go see Halliburton. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not like it was because that Celtics game was damn near a sellout too, but it was about a 60-40 in there. It's going to be crazy. Just people in Memphis. You're going to have people from out of town to come see that game. Oh, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy.
So they're on a back-to-back.
I heard you talk about this. Come on, break it down.
That makes me nervous.
Who, the Pacers on a back-to-back?
Pacers on a back-to-back makes me nervous because they're playing at home tonight against Charlotte, and then they're going to have travel, and then you go obviously back into Memphis. That makes me nervous that they could potentially sit Halliburton.
You think so?
Listen.
Hide them from Ja.
I don't know. I think that would be a disservice to everyone, even Halliburton, because you have to know that the conversations out there where it's Halliburton, Ja, they're the next two upcoming. How would you turn down a chance to play against Ja?
What happened to Trae Young?
Trae?
I mean to cut you off.
Is he still in the league?
I don't know. I'm being dead serious, bro. Like, the Hawks are bad this year. Like, what happened to them?
They're not that bad, though, are they?
They got a losing record. They're like 5 or 6 games below 500.
Wow.
Out of 6-19.
They damn near are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
go ahead,
he
bro.
doesn't control the offense like he used to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that guy used to be that dude. It was him and Luka.
Yeah, exactly.
And like everybody jumped him.
And it was the 4 guys. It was really, Luka, Ja, I guess Zion, and then Trae was like the 4 guys that were all coming up, take over the league.
No.
And now Trae's kind of falling off.
Halliburton's gotten in that conversation.
He's absolutely, because he's amazing. He is very amazing.
Yeah, he's good.
And he passes so well. I think that Vince would guard him if we're talking about.
Man, I want to see that so bad.
I hope that he plays.
Halliburton, get your Steve Urkel looking ass. Hey, bro, you playing Thursday, bro.
You got to.
Nah, you playing Thursday, bro. You getting your ass in his Hornets mess.
Halliburton is Stephon Urkel.
That's who Stephon, Get his ass toe up.
There's no way Halliburton's sitting out that game.
He better not sit
no
I hope
way.
not. You're talking like that will be a 40-point game for Ja because there's nobody that can stop in the front of the rim.
Yeah.
And nobody can stay in front of him.
Oh, he'll dunk on Miles Turner.
100%.
I can see it.
He'll break his Legos.
Kick his Legos over. Just go kick his shit over. Yeah, man, for sure. But yeah, it's exciting times for sure, man. Great game last night. True storybook ending for that game, man. And me and Kenny talked about this before the show got started, that, man, if you want to talk about, like, the Sports Illustrated DVD, we ain't got no championship DVD coming out, but if you want to do a Ja Morant, come fly with me or something. Like, this is the story of it, man. We're seeing the story arc of a guy whose story looks to be already written in the clouds, man. A guy who had a really tough situation with the suspension. Not saying he's a victim, but really tough situation with the suspension. To come back in your very first game, storybook ending like that.
Yeah.
On the road, 20-something point comeback. You hit the game-winning shot in front of your dads right there. It was in front of in front of your own bench.
Yeah.
Just a great moment for Ja Morant. Great story for the city. We're not going to talk about the other stuff that happened that involves the city of Memphis and sports on a historic day yesterday, just being honest with you. But we'll talk about those things on Friday more so. This is all about Ja. That's all we're going to talk about today. We got my man Daniel Greer, man. We're going to sit and talk about this the entire show. We're going to give you out a strong hour. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what does the rest of the season look like? Are we a playoff team? Can we get into the play-in? Or are we just going to have fun watching some Grizzlies basketball? We'll talk about that and more here on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
That this team, as it sits right now, no Jordan Brown, no Naquan Tomlin, they are capable of being a round of 32, maybe even a Sweet 16 team. They just went on the road and beat a top 25 team in the country with what they have right now, with a front court consisting of Malcolm Dandridge and Nick Jordan, and that's it.
That is it.
If Memphis is
they played some small ball against A&M pretty successfully.
They did. If this team is able to get Naquan Tomlin in the fold, then that preseason ceiling that we were talking about
right there
is back. Because I just think that this team, even without an extra big or without adding any other pieces, they are a really, really good top 25 quality team.
But they're not.
But they don't have that extended ceiling that they would have had with DeAndre Williams or Jordan Brown or someone else, another piece in that front
100%.
court. Because that is their weakness now.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What a huge week from can we call them the Three Kings? Can we replace the old Three Kings with the new Three Kings?
Well, they were four kings, though.
Yeah, but these three are better than the four.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
The three being David Jones, Javon Quinterly, and Caleb Mills. Through these last two games on the road, both in Raucous Arenas, they've combined, do you know how many points they've combined for?
I don't remember the number you actually talked about.
I know, I told you. I was
Very
just seeing
briefly.
how
I
good
don't remember the number. I do remember it being staggering.
Timothy's memory was 126 combined points in the last two matchups. That's 63 a ball game between the three of those fellas. David Jones leading the way. He was American Conference Player of the Week, averaging 26, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 steals in 2 road games. Dropped 23 on VCU with 8 boards, and then dropped 29 yesterday in College Station. Keep that up. We're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about?
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
That this team, as it sits right now, no Jordan Brown, no Naquan Tomlin, they are capable of being a round of 32, maybe even a Sweet 16 team.
We're gonna talk about two main things. What does your starting lineup look like going forward? Your closing lineup, those type of things, as well as just the general. Is this a playoff team now? Is this a play-in team? What does the rest of the season look like? Yeah. I'll start off with the whole playoff play-in thing. I think there is a universe where this team can come back from. I think they're down like 7.5 games out of play-in now. Yeah, we were saying 2.5 a while ago. Then we just kind of stayed sorry for a long time. Like we didn't kind of stay with the people in front of us or whatever. Right. But it's gonna be hard, man, because you've got some good teams ahead of you. You got the Clippers who are playing good basketball now. You got the Warriors in front of you. Houston, who's showing that they're a legit playoff-ish level team this year. It's gonna be hard to get into to crack that pile. Now the Portlands of the world, the Utahs, you'll get past those type of things. But I think those type of teams. But I think it will be hard to get in. All I'm excited about, all I'm really concerned about, man, is just this new season that started yesterday. Yep. Does it look a lot more exciting, not only to our fan base, but to other players in the league? Because this is what I'm looking at. I'm sure the Grizzlies are going to make a trade for someone, right? Have to, yeah. And you might make a trade for somebody who has some contract stuff going on. Okay. Can you make this final run look good to whoever, whether that's guys who own your team? How does the rest of the season set up next season? Is basically what I'm saying.
Well, I think it's an easy sell point because you're showing this product of, hey, this is what it used to be. This is what it will be. Right. And I think the will be product of Ja and with Smart, and then you're talking about getting Luke back. As long as you don't have major injury concerns, you can sell this to anybody. Yeah, you can sell last night to anybody. Yeah, exactly, and they'll bite.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger thing. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to make the playoffs. But man, I'm not gonna count out John Morant. I'm not. And you saw last night that Pelicans team has just won 5 straight games. Right, they're playing good basketball. I don't think they've lost at all since the play-in break or whatever you want to call it. But they've looked great. And I think the fact that you saw the Grizzlies, that makeshift team they had yesterday, just into game 1 of John Morant. Right. I think that and Desmond Bane having a bad game. I think seeing them still be able to come out and win, that's a game they would have lost by 30 a week ago. You know what I mean? I think the fact that you saw them come out and pull out that win, it means that you're going to see this team be a good team the rest of the way. Yeah. Now, whether that's a team that's winning 55%, 60%, whatever that percentage is, I think this next run is going to be hella fun. And worst case scenario was what? You get a lottery pick at the end of the season. That's literally the worst case scenario.
Worst case.
You know what I mean? If all else fails, I think you're going to have a super fun rest of the season, and you get a decent lottery pick regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, I think this team's going to be good enough where they can make the play. And I'm just looking at these stats right
Mm-hmm.
now. They are 7-19, which everybody understands. Phoenix is 14-13. So we're looking at just getting back to roughly 500.
Right.
And you feel confident going into, honestly, the second half of the season. So if they can figure out a way to somehow get within 3 to 4 games of being at 500, I'd say midway through, I think this team has enough. You're talking about different segments of the year. The first 25 games was without Ja. You're just hanging on.
Right.
The next 25 are going to be crucial. Like if you can get enough wins to get yourself to in 3 to 4 games under 500, that you're already setting yourself up for success. And then at that point, you're talking about maybe the last 20, 30, whatever games there are. You have another small season where maybe your guys are getting healthy and you're getting back to that. The main thing is going to be you can't have bad luck with injuries.
Yeah.
Because these other teams are going to have injury issues. You know that. Like looking at some of these teams, Houston has not really had a ton of injury issues. OKC has been the healthiest team in the league. Minnesota has been fairly healthy. Like these teams have been very healthy this year.
Yeah.
It's all about at what point do they get a bad luck, and then you can kind of start catching different teams.
And I saw a stat yesterday on some type of graphic that came up yesterday that said how far ahead we were of everyone else as far as teams with games missing, with guys with 5+ injuries or more. I was like, damn, bro. Like when you look at it like that, like we've really been snake bitten by injuries for sure.
And that doesn't even account Adams or
it counted
or
them.
Clark. It does count them.
It counted them. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and you also might get some version of Brandon Clark back this year too.
Maybe.
I really think you can really get a nice look into what the future looks like. Plus, I think the Grizzlies are going to make some type of trade this year. I don't think it's going to be anything groundbreaking, but there's going to be some type of it's going to have to be, because if you're going to put, they're going to keep Vince Williams, bro.
Have to.
So there's going to be some type of 2-for-1 trade that probably brings you back somebody that can play.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I've got guys I've got my eyes on, and we'll see how that whole thing works out. But they're going to add someone else that can play basketball. Yeah. And I think the perfect situation from the Grizzlies, I don't know what a trade target should be, but Vince Williams should be the worst guy in this rotation. Like, and right now you got guys like Tillman who are on the team. And I think that Vince Williams should be the worst guy you're playing, period. Like, if you could get to that point, the future is super bright for the Grizzlies, because you got Steven Adams, you got Brandon Clark coming back. Yep. And if Vince is not a guy who's your starter, but just a super good guy in your rotation, I think that you've done what you need to do with this roster.
And he's a guy that you can sign for the long term. Yep. You can sign him.
Give him the John Conchar contract.
Yeah. You can sign him for 3 or 4 years.
Except it actually makes sense, yeah.
And probably very similar to what Kenny Lofton Jr. Was being signed to. None of his stuff was guaranteed. That's why they let him go. But another guy that you just spoke about with X, like X is helpful for this team. I wish he wasn't, but he is helpful for this team for the simple fact that he's a big that we have to rely on because of needing a little bit of size. But if you look at him, his contract's over after this year. So whether or not they extend him, or I don't know if you can do it at this point, but if they sign him to a new contract, like there's a lot of questions. You can obviously just let him walk. He'll be beneficial and go play somewhere.
Right.
I don't know if we really need to sign him to a contract to where we feel like we need to play him.
Yeah.
But also you have other questions of Zaire and Jake LaRavia. Like, what do you do? Like Nate gave Jake LaRavia the nickname Dead Money, because that's what he looks like.
It goes down in the DM, Dead Money.
Yep. So
we got some breaking news, kind of.
What?
BC just announced it.
Who's BC?
He wants to be back by the All-Star break.
What?
BC just announced he's going to be back by the All-Star
Brandon
break.
Clark.
Wow.
Brandon Clark.
Wow.
What you talking about? He said that on his Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Wow.
All right.
BC. I saw him doing some jumping.
Daniel, there's a trade that got pitched on the in the comment section. I want to get your thoughts on yours too, Anthony. Send Kennard in a second round to Detroit for James Wiseman.
No. Did it take long? I don't think so.
No.
If you're gonna make a deal with Detroit, all right, I'm gonna stop teasing this name. I've been looking at. If you're gonna make a deal with Detroit, I would go Tillman. I hate to say this, bro. I would go Tillman, John Conchar. Together, they're like about $5 million.
Yeah.
And I would go this year. They are.
Conchar's only making $2 million.
That's what I'm saying. Tillman and Conchar together.
Tillman's making like 1.5.
Nah, they money together is like $5 million, bro.
Kenny.
Go check the trade machine, Ken.
Let me look.
But anyway, I did this on the trusted trade machine, so I know my math is correct.
Trade machine.
So I would take those two. I would trade them to Detroit, and I would trade a second or whatever I need to do, and I would get Alex Burks off of him.
Tillman's earning a base of 1.93.
Where am I getting $5 million from?
I just want everybody to understand. I am correct.
Go on the trade machine and see what it say they total is when you put them both together.
So I like that. I think you can say that with any of these dudes.
Yeah.
Because Conchar, X, Laravia, Z, whoever you want to send out. I think bringing a guy back that can be a better guy that's in your top 8 rotation potentially. That's not a bad trade ever.
Why y'all want James Wiseman so bad?
I don't want James Wiseman.
I don't think anybody wants James Wiseman.
He's a good name, and he's obviously a local kid that never was really local.
Does that really matter though? Is that why people are saying it?
I think so. 100%. Yes.
Having back Derrick Rose, who was
I'm more excited about
Memphis.
Derrick Rose.
He was awesome.
Than James Wiseman.
But remember when Grizzlies fans got excited about Antonio Burks coming and playing for the Grizzlies?
I'm one of those people for sure.
Yep. So
I guess I get it then, man. I don't.
It's fine.
I'd rather go get like Precious Achiuwa or somebody, like somebody I really could think could do some shit on this thing. Anyway, man, no, I wouldn't do that. No, I'm not one of the best shooters in the league for a project big that you don't even know what he's going to.
Somebody I would look out for is the Brooklyn Nets. You're talking about a guy in Lonnie Walker who I've pitched many a times. He's on a two-year deal. He's actually able to be traded now because of the December 15th deadline. And so now that he actually, 2-year deal, it's just a 1-year contract. It's done. So I think a guy like that you could go get if you feel like you really could get him and use him, because they're not really going to use him. They're going to go with Cam Thomas as they have shown.
Understandably though.
And so you're talking about a guy that could help you. You throw him a player and a 2nd-round pick. I think you get that.
I'm gonna tell you what the kind of guy we need, and I know you'll get a kick out of this. I think we need to get what we thought Jalen Noel was, but like the actual dude. Get one of those type of guys, just a versatile scoring wing off the bench. You can dribble a little bit, get to the basket, score in the mid-range.
Shot creator.
Yeah, shot creator. I think we need one of those, and I think there's a lot of it's easier to get one of those type of guys, which is also a highly valued commodity in the league, as opposed to the 6'8", 6'9" wing, 3-and-D wing. But I think the next step under that, it would be your shot creating 6'4", 5'6" combo guard type guy. And I think we need one of those. And I think if you can get that, plus have a Vince Williams type guy who you can sign to a regular deal at that point, I think that really shores up your rotation for real. If we can get an actual what Jalen Noel was in theory. If we could get that, I think we'd be good, man. Yeah.
Does a potential return of BC so early change anything for y'all in terms of moves you would make?
I ain't gonna lie, man. If he's back by the All-Star break and he looks good, I am calling teams about Brandon Clark. I'm putting Brandon Clark in trade discussions for sure. Matter of fact, I'm calling Toronto and saying, hey, let's get this reunion going. Let's talk OG Anunoby. Like for real. Like, and OG's probably gonna be gone. I'm calling him about BC, man. If he shows me he can play, like he's looking like Brandon Clark. Oh yeah,
you think Darko would want him?
Hell yeah, it would. And you know that OG gonna be gone anyway. Oh, we talking. But he's another guy, man. If Brandon Clark comes back and he's ready to play, even if you don't trade him, even if Bismack is your center, even if you say, all right, we're gonna trade Adams or whatever we're gonna do, you're gonna get something back from Adams, or if Adams is ready. If Brandon Clark is back and he can play, that's your closing lineup again that we've been dreaming for years.
Right.
This version of Jaren and Clark closing games, come on, man. If you can play.
Is Jaren ready for that?
I don't know.
He hasn't shown it. That's the issue.
I don't know. But he showed it a few years ago, though. But it was the closing lineup. You know what I mean?
The reason
that could be your starting lineup.
The reason Bismack's on this team is because Jaren
still couldn't
be that.
Yep. He still needs training wheels. Yep. He still needs.
And they can't go small because he can't keep himself out of foul trouble.
But if Jaren and Clark are your starters, you probably could, though. You probably could definitely get away with Jaren being the 5, but only just on paper. Where Clark does the 4 to 5 stuff. You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think he has to have somebody that can bang with the big on defense. It's not about anything else.
Yeah.
He is the best version of himself when they're smaller, because then you have the center out of the lane and he can be that guy. The problem is he can't be the guy who bangs, and that's why now you're seeing Xavier Tillman run out to the 3-point line, because Xavier Tillman's guarding the guys, right? The big guys. and then he runs out and gets out of the way to the 3-point line. And unfortunately, he does shoot more than he should. But that's the whole reason that he's running out to the 3-point line is to get out of the way so Jaren can do what he wants.
I'm gonna throw this out so I can get my guy Greer up out of here real quick. Something else people are talking about on Twitter is the starting lineup. I'm gonna throw this out to people because everybody's talking about Vince is the man. I mean, don't get me twisted. I would love to see Vince Williams be a big part of this team going forward. Nobody's probably advocated for him more than the people you sitting up here now.
Yep.
But I'll say this about Vince. I think he's fine coming off the bench, and I'll say why. People are saying, well, yeah, Marcus Smart would be fine if he started, but we need like a punch off the bench. Like we need like a playmaker off the bench, a guy who can dribble off the bench. People, you can have both. Like we're not running a platoon system. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The simple strategy is you start Smart at at the wing defender spot.
Yep.
I don't want to say small forward. He's not a small forward. You start him on your wing defender spot, and he's the first man that comes out of the game. It's simple basketball. Smart sits first, and then you bring Vince in.
Yep.
And while Smart's sitting, he's resting to come in for Ja. And when Ja comes out, Smart comes back in, and he's playing with Vince, and he's your point guard and your playmaker off the bench. It's a simple formula, but you still start Smart. It doesn't mean you have to bring him off the bench for him to be your backup. But we've never had a situation like in the history of the Grizzlies being here. We've never had a guy who's your backup point guard who actually wasn't just a backup point guard. You know what I mean? Like with a guy like Smart, you can clearly do that. He can start the game and come in and spell Ja when he comes in as well. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you do any tinkering with the starting lineup once you get, whatever full strength looks like?
As you just said, I could care less who starts because, in my opinion, just like you were talking about, I would somehow find a way to do it as they were doing it the first game is you have Ja sit in the middle of the quarter. That way he can open and close every single quarter. Last year, that was Jaren's role. He was opening and closing almost every quarter because to keep him out of foul trouble. I would do that with Ja because it keeps the offense fluid. But if you're talking about the starting unit, you're probably going to go with Smart.
Yeah.
He's the more veteran player, maybe get you off to a better start.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a guy who can be, honestly, just what they're calling him the bug in a sense, is Vince Williams. And you have him come in and be that guy who, spells a little bit of, I guess the defensive side of Smart. But then Smart slides over and is the point guard for Ja, and then he stays in. There's different ways you can maneuver that.
A lot of ways you can do it.
Yeah, I think you can still get him 25 to 30 minutes, Vince Williams, just being a bench role player, being the sixth man. And at that point, you can close with either one of them, or you can go small like you were saying.
And go both of them.
Move out Bismack Biyombo because you're late in the game. If Jaren fouls, not a big deal. You understand now, then you can actually have that small unit.
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be exciting times. Getting guys that are competent, like skilled NBA players and Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard. Taylor Jenkins, if you're watching the show, it's very simple. All the minutes you were giving to the Jake LaRavias, the Zaire Williamses, the David Roddy, who else? John Conchar had the double hand, my man. John Conchar. Get them the hell up out of here. Give all them business to Vince Williams. Play a 9-10 man rotation. Let's have a fun season, man. But Daniel, I appreciate you coming on with me, bro. I'm gonna let you slide out. Last segment just gonna be me and Kenny, man. Again, it's my man Daniel Greer. Check him out on Grizz 901. Every Grizz post game, him and Nate Quarles have a great show, man. They're not super emotional. They're having fun with it, but it's great information about the game you just watched and the next game coming up. You guys had Jessica Benson on yesterday, just teaching a master class. Jessica
she's so good.
A master in what we do, man, for sure.
Yeah, she is.
So check those guys out over there at Grizz 901. About to take a break, man. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the reactions to the game last night, the media presence before and after the game. And I guess Kenny will get to either make fun of me or we'll just joke about my past week with stuff I've been talking about. Well, we'll see you guys in a minute here on Anthony Sain Show. We live in a minute.
Is this the best University of Memphis basketball team in 15 years?
Oh.
You thought I was going Penny Hardaway era?
I would say yes.
I would say yes, too.
Definitely in the Penny Hardaway. I thought you were going Penny Hardaway.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, this is
Will
kind
Barton
of tough.
4 Kings team.
That's kind of tough, though, because I don't know, because I wonder about the upside of this particular team when we get to a tournament situation.
Yeah.
I think that's a wait and see. That's an incomplete.
I think so.
I agree.
That's an
I
incomplete.
agree. I agree.
But I'm leaning yes based on the way they have managed this out of conference schedule, because this is nuts. The fact that we're debating
that's what I was.
That sort of shows
where this team
what
is
the
at.
ceiling of this team could potentially be, and it's exciting as hell. Don't hide your excitement. If you're a Memphis fan out there, don't hide your excitement.
The fact that you can even have an argument or debate on if this is the best team in the last 15 years shows you all you need to know about what this team is.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Do you think if you spot an NBA team 30 points, they would still come back and win?
Against who?
A college team. A good college team.
Yes.
30 points. You think they can come back and... What if I said 40 points? What is the breaking point?
What are you saying? That the NBA team is down 30 points?
Yeah, they're basically negative 40 at the start of the game. Negative 30, negative 40.
I don't know, TJ. This like what team? Who's on it? We're talking like the national championship team, like UConn last year versus...
No, let's say... let's just use Villanova because that's who we played. Versus the Pistons. You think they come back and win that?
I mean, we went on a 24-0 run.
They were letting you make that run.
What are you saying? 30 point?
Yeah,
30-0 to start the game. Villanova. Yeah. I think the Pistons can probably win.
You think so?
Yeah,
it's a lot of points.
I know it's a lot.
I don't know. That was just a dumb conversation.
It's also an NBA team.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Final segment of the show. Shout out to my man Daniel Greer once again.
Looking spiffy
man,
today,
Winnie
man.
though, man. Winnie though.
Ow.
I love having Daniel on the show, man. Just a good dude, super knowledgeable, but he doesn't take himself super serious at all, man. Funny dude, Daniel Greer for sure. Speaking of taking themselves too serious, the entire damn media in the world. I did not know that my access to games was comparable to delivering babies.
I cannot believe that they let you in the facility.
Well, how dare them allow someone to actually be a fan of the team that he covers in the city that he was born and raised in, man. How dare them? And one lady tells me this is why people have to have degrees and have
man, get out of my
editors and like, you don't set your ass up. Like we're talking, like, bro. Let's
give some background because there's probably people that haven't seen.
Well,
this.
Let me pull back. Let me pull back a little bit and just say this. In the area of you want to talk about what I'm talking about? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like set the stage for what happened.
Last Friday, John Morant made his media availability, his first one, right? And you know me, bro. I do things as a nod to people that I fool with, right? So,
right.
And I'm like, all right. I have media friends in the room with me. The Michael Cole, Avery was there. Colin Cody was in the room. Doc Holliday was in the room.
Right.
Terry all these
Davis,
people who are like my friends. Sharon Brown was there, and I'm sitting in the back with the cool kids. Rob Fisher's right there.
Yep.
Jessica Benson's right there. I said, let me do something to like have everybody laughing at me.
Yep.
Just to mess with my friends, right? Plus, I was asking a legitimate question. Like I wanted to know what y'all thought about being people acting like he's dead. Because you would have thought John Morant didn't exist anymore when it came down to the way some of these people were talking, right? So I said it in the most authentic way I could, in a way that would sound Memphis as hell. Give a shout out to the city.
Let's go.
I did not think that the question was going to pop off the way that it did. I wanted to make Ross Wooden feel uncomfortable. I wanted to make Miss Laura feel uncomfortable with the Grizzlies organization, but I did not know it was going to take out the way it did. And did I know who Jalen Brunson was? Of course I know who Jalen Brunson is.
Of course, if anybody out there does not think that Anthony Sain doesn't know who Jalen Brunson is,
right.
Get out of my face.
But
man.
I did it, bro. And I said all that to say this. We cover sports, man. You're talking about something that any man sitting on his couch in his underwear can give you a very, very vivid and entertaining conversation about, right? You don't have to be some type of Rhodes Scholar to talk about this. But what happens is you get people who you talk about these. Shout out to my boy John Martin, who broke this down very well on his show, Jason and John's show. You get people who put these rules of what shouldn't be allowed, the etiquette you should have, how you should go about this, what's professional, all those type of things. You know what those rules really are for, Kenny?
What's that?
To keep people with like charisma and swag, to level the playing field.
Right.
To eliminate guys who actually can come in there with some charisma and some entertainment and make it fun. Because in a world where you have guys who look like they've done nothing but push pencils all their lives or do math problems or do homework for the crew, you know what I mean? Do homework for athletes. You got guys who can come in there like a Doc Holliday, like myself, like a Colin Cody, like a DeMichael Cole, who have a swag and an essence about themselves where they can get into a room and excel because of not only their skill, but their charisma. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when you put these bullshit rules out there, it tries to eliminate those type of people from coming in and doing what they're doing. When a Doc Holliday can pick up his phone, go around all the loopholes and talk about whatever you want to talk about, and the next morning you see him on ESPN radio or you see him on the ESPN show.
Let's go.
Because the people he's talking to, he's built relationships with those people. That's why you see people say things bad about Doc Holliday because he's going around the rules. That's why you see people like myself because I go around the rules. Nobody's talking about anything else that came out of that press conference outside of you guys really think Ja owes y'all an apology. There are two things people are talking about, that and me. You know what I mean? And that's because I'm able to use my charisma. I'm able to use my authenticity to go places these other guys won't go to. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because it really was bothering me, man, to see people really talk like, this is old news now, but I haven't spoke since then, not here. And it kind of really bothers me to see people think that Ja really owed them an apology. Ja doesn't owe anybody anything, man. He's a young dude who made a mistake outside of the court. He paid for his mistake. He's been suspended by the league. His suspension is over. There's really nothing else to talk about.
What are we talking about?
There's nothing else to talk about.
You want him to give a full breakdown of the last year of his life and say, this is what come on, man. Like, what are we talking about?
And people clown me because it was like, oh man, what a clown question. And you really think Ja cares about other dudes and what people say right now? Yes. I do.
He absolutely cares.
And I've been covering Ja Morant since rookie year game 1, man, before a lot of these goofs were even around. And I remember it was a cold winter night. And I was just playing. The Grizzlies were getting ready to play the Miami Heat, and Ja was going crazy his rookie year, right? And at that time, Kendrick Nunn of all people played for the Miami Heat.
Right.
And he was getting some rookie of the year hype. He was probably 30 at the time. He was getting rookie of the year hype, right? So I asked Ja the same type of question. I said, Ja, what, everybody looks at you as one of the favorites of rookie of the year. What do you think about the matchup between you and Kendrick Nunn? And Ja cuts me off real quick. He cuts me off. He's like, oh man, he leans into the mic. I don't care about that. That game is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Miami Heat. That's all I care about. Oh, okay, Mr. Morant, that's cool. This is young Demetrius at the time. You know what I mean? So, all right, that's cool, Ja. When the actual game starts.
Then the game happened. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Then the game happened.
And Ja's going off on Kendrick Nunn, man. He's going off on the Heat. And you see Ja, he's like, man, rookie of the year coming through me, man.
Yeah,
rookie of the year coming through me. I'm like, hey, Ja, you just told me.
I thought this was Memphis Grizzlies versus Miami Heat.
I know this dude, man. And I know he's been keeping receipts. Y'all know he's been keeping receipts. I asked the question.
He told us he's been keeping receipts.
He just told us the other night he's keeping. That's why I've been stone-faced the whole time. Like, all right, when y'all done, I know how Ja get down, man. I'm not some fan who snuck into the media room. I've been covering Ja for a long time. I know how he gets down, bro. So a lot of stuff people said was super funny. The DJ Paul shit was funny. All of it was funny, man, to be honest with you. I haven't been fazed by any of it. People are just being idiots. I just block them. I start a conversation with them, and in the middle of them talking, I just block them. Right? Hey, that was fun. Yeah, but I just think it's crazy, man. And going to the stuff that we're hearing today, feels good to say today and actually mean like today.
It actually is today.
Shout out to the live show, man. Yeah, if you like to see this show go live every day, send your donations to Bluff City Media via, I don't know, Zach Thomas, I guess. I don't know.
Hit up Zach.
But yeah, right now it ain't feasible. But if you like to see this show every day, let's yeah. But anyway, a lot of stuff you're hearing today is in response to Ja saying, of all things, I've kept receipts, which is the exact same thing Anthony Sain said last Friday. But a lot of people responding to that. Jay Williams, ESPN. Shout out to that dude for sure, man, for the response he had for Stephen A. Smith and what's his name?
Mad Dog Russo. What did they say? What did they say?
Man.
What did they say?
Stephen A. Smith was like, Stephen A. Smith and Mad Dog were like, bro, if there's anybody that comes off like a racist old ass white man,
It's Mad Dog.
it's that Mad Dog. I'm like, dude, how's this dude on tele? Like, people ask me, how was I in the press conference? How was that dude on ESPN sounding that out of touch, man?
Like, and I don't
That
know.
dude is terrible. Like, what is he? I don't get it.
He
man.
was a radio guy for a long time in New York.
Yeah, nah, man.
Yeah, he's wild.
That dude's energy is just trash towards these athletes, man. And he was like, oh, it just comes off like he's saying that he's a victim or he was done wrong. And no, he ain't saying that at all. Just saying I've kept up with what y'all have had to say about me. Like Jason Williams said, y'all were doing more than talking about what he did. Y'all were talking about his family, his dad, his mom. You know what I mean? His play cousins, his play brothers, and them. Y'all were talking about everything that had to do with this dude, man, over the last few months. And they were people saying that, people saying, well, John's gonna he's gonna have to rebuild himself on and off the court. No, he had to rebuild shit. Dude went off last night. It looked like he's fine at basketball still. You know what I mean? So all that stuff is crazy to me, man. I think that you should see what Ja did last night, and we should be celebrating with him, celebrating with his obvious signs of maturity. I had this conversation with my brother, who's a big PR guy in Virginia. And he was talking about how in his line of work, he was upset about how Ja came off with the whole receipts thing, right? He was like basically saying when a guy does something that puts him in a crisis situation for his image, like Ja did with the gun stuff, that was a horrible way to re-debut, right? To pop back out. And I told him, man, just like Jason Williams said, you're eliminating the I'm a major competitor, and I think I'm one of the best players of all time gene that Ja Morant has.
Right. That a lot of us don't.
That a lot of people can't relate to.
We don't have that.
I said you can't compare that to some actor. This ain't my guy who just got in trouble. This ain't Jonathan Majors. You know what I mean? Like, this is a totally different situation, man. And I think that gene in him, it's a gene you saw in a Michael Jordan, in a Kobe Bryant to be the best ever. And he's set back since April. And he's heard the criticism. He's heard the people act like he doesn't exist. He's heard the people say that Dylan Brooks is the reason why this Grizzlies team ain't the same. You know what I mean? He's heard Halliburton is better than you, man. De'Aaron Fox is better than you. Jalen Brunson is a better leader than you are. I can't remember what, and for the people acting like that didn't exist, that happened, bro. It was some national podcast where some guy was like, if I was starting a team today, I would start with Jalen Brunson over John Morant.
Oh, my God.
Just because I trust him. I trust him not to do something crazy. Those type of conversations were out there, man. And I think we're seeing we're about to see a magical run by Ja, man. He's about to be doing some amazing things for the rest of the season. And like we talked about with Daniel, man, the city needs it. The city needs it for sure. I'm not the escape from the world type guy. I don't get into those type of conversations because a lot of things we need to deal with in this city and in this world. I don't look at sports as a way to escape. But it definitely, the vibe in the city definitely did something last night to see Ja Morant come in and just perform magic.
Put your Nostradamus hat on for a second.
Come on.
What do you think the remaining, the rest of the season, the coverage around Ja is going to be?
Oh, it's going to be crazy. I can tell you some things that are going to happen. He's going to get a uncomfortable amount of All-Star votes. First of all. He's going to get an uncomfortable amount of All-Star votes. That's going to lead a lot of conversations on these shows about.
You think so?
Because I technically think he can't be an All-Star.
I don't think he can be.
Like by the league rules, I think he can't be an All-Star.
I don't think he can be.
But I think he's going to get an uncomfortable amount of votes coming up, man. We just saw this man. Hey, the fact that this dude drops a shoe and it's sold out by 901 in the 901 is crazy.
You want to hear something crazy?
Go ahead.
My nephew has all the Jaws, I think. He's bought them all.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas joints came out. We sent him, his Christmas present this year was, I want to get the Ja Christmases. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our family pitched in together, sent him some money for it. He got on the app to get it and couldn't get it.
No.
So now he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He still can't get them. Still can't get them.
He'll get in a resale for about $500.
These shoes are wild, man.
And if you ain't noticed, shout out to Nike. Because if you ain't noticed, that MF of Ja Morant had a different pair of Johns on every day this week.
Did you see those gold and white ones?
That man dropped a gold and white one. He had one that looked like a kind of a, not Miami Dolphins, kind of like a, I don't know, man, what he had on. And bro, I thought when I got these, I was like, oh, these might be the cleanest one. Shit. That man dropped one that looked like some Grinches. He dropped that gold and white one. He got
You see those black and white ones?
Yeah, he dropped one that looked like a giraffe or some shit, bro. Nike is about to drop. They got the Chinese New Year joints about to come out.
Oh my god,
man! That man about to drop a shoe every 2 weeks, bro. And they're going to sell. My girl Rail on shout out to her, man. Pelicans podcaster. She kind of fits into that fan / content creator mode like that. I proudly, unapologetically stand in. And I'll never be apologetic about being a fan of the Grizzlies, bro. Like y'all can eat the crevices of my ass thinking I care about y'all. So, there's a little fan in there. Okay, yeah. I actually knocked their door down to get in there. They might let me in.
Right.
If y'all just want to have that conversation. But anyway, shout out to my girl Rail with the Pelicans. And what was she talking about? Shit, man. I forgot.
Well, I saw the video. She was talking about just the game in general. I haven't seen anything else. What is there something else you saw?
She was talking about the star power of John Morant.
Right.
How after that game was over.
Oh yeah, signing autographs down.
He was down there signing autographs in New Orleans, man.
Right.
That ain't happening. It ain't many dudes who doing that,
Said
bro.
something like making us look foolish out
here,
man.
Right. I've seen like, oh, Tyrese Halliburton, throw me your towel. And Tyrese throws a towel to a kid. Ja had a effing autograph session in New Orleans with New Orleans kids. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, there aren't many dudes in the league who got that type of pull, man. There are not many rock stars left in the NBA, man. They're not. You probably got 5 of them. You probably got LeBron, of course, KD, Steph. Luka probably has that. Who else you talking about? Ja. Giannis, maybe.
Giannis?
When Giannis came to Memphis, man, there wasn't nobody checking for Giannis like that. Not no herd of people with Giannis jerseys on to sign my autograph. I ain't even see that with Luka. It ain't many dudes, man, that can go around the NBA and do what Ja Morant does.
And it's all big market guys that are that way.
Yes. Bro, I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. And all these people hating on Ja, they're gonna start making them must-see TV. You're gonna see added Grizzly games to the national schedule, bro. Because like I said, I don't care if we make the playoffs. I don't care if we make the play-in. Just bring the fun back, man. Make next year look like it's about to be awesome. And if we're about to get Brandon Clark back, I've seen that. I popped on my phone, saw that all over everywhere. That Brandon Clark is about to looks like he's trying to come back by the All-Star game.
That's insanity.
Which would be amazing. If you get that dude back in what's that, February?
Yeah.
It might be a fun year, man. This might be a fun year for sure, man. And you saw Jaren say that Ja told him, "No, you're going to stay engaged while I'm back, man. You're going to still be this aggressive version of Jaren Jackson Jr."
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
God, I love it. I love it.
Yep. He told him, "No, you're going to be aggressive, man, for sure."
I saw Ja say something in the post-game availability where he said that he talked about accountability on the court between the players.
Yep.
And he said it's probably not the first time, but it's the one
hard.
that really hits me hard.
Yep.
Is when Desmond told him to effing rebound during the game.
Yep.
He's like, I missed a few rebounds.
Yep.
And he said, I don't know if Des has ever said that to me before in a game. And he said, but that hit,
rebound.
He's like, I loved it.
Yep. And people can say what they want, man. Dylan had a good game against us. Glad, I was happy for Dylan Brooks, even in defeat. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, y'all gonna get this shit out of the way now, because
it looked like it felt really good to him, man.
Yeah, man. So I ain't mad at none of that, but I think him being away, like I said, and those 3 guys being the clear pecking order, no guy in the middle who's kind of part of our tier, but he's kind of not. There's no question marks about anybody. The big 3 on this team is Jaren, Ja, and Bane. And anybody else, hey, you know what you're here for. You know what I mean? And I think having that clear pecking order where guys like Desmond Bane could be your big dog barker on this team, and Ja being your leader, and Jaren, serving his role on offense and defense, I think that's going to be better for this team going forward. And I think it's just some exciting times ahead, man. Marcus Smart is going to be here soon. Luke Kennard looks like he's going to be right behind him.
Yep.
You can kind of find some moves for some of those guys. Even if you got to burn some first-round picks, you got a guy like G.G. Jackson who's waiting in the wings, with wing being the key word there. That kid looked good the other night when he came in knocking down shots. You could just see all the signs. I'm not feeling pessimistic about this Grizzlies team at all, bro. Like, I think we're going to have exciting times ahead, man. It's going to be a fun rest of the season. And setting up for next season, man. A year where you look like you're going to have Brandon Clark possibly Steven Adams back. We'll see. We'll see how all that looks, man. But like I said, we experimented with going live today, man. I enjoyed it. We've talked about what this would look like. Is this the first ever Bluff City Media Show live in the studio?
In the studio, yes.
Look at that. Trailblazing history.
Hey, I do want to, I know you said this is all about Ja, but I do feel like, and just to kind of close this out, we ain't got to spend a whole lot of time on it. Yesterday was a massive day in the city of Memphis in terms of sports.
It was.
Can you just give your thoughts real quick on
real fast?
We'll
talk about this more so Friday for sure. We'll talk about these things in details. But man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I have people who still think I have some vendetta against University of Memphis because I have a logical mind when it comes down to arena funding. That the University of Memphis is not the biggest deal when it comes down to that. I don't see how that turned into a thing. And I've said my things about how, the crowds look like 8 a.m. service at Bellevue Baptist, but they do. So I don't, I've got people mad at me about that type of stuff. You'll be fine, whatever. But it was a truly, and I told you a long time ago, I haven't been this engaged in Tiger basketball since that Four Kings season with Will Barton and Chris Crawford and what's his name? Michael Dixon. I haven't cared as much about Tiger basketball since that year. But just a great moment, man. I came home yesterday after the watch party as I put Gabe to bed. He's super excited about everything. And it just felt good to see just a historic come from behind re-debut of Ja Morant with this Grizzlies team. A blowout win by the Tigers against a Virginia team that beat the boots out of this team a few years ago in the NCAA tournament. You remember
God.
When Paxton was here, beat the hell out of us.
And they're just a blue blood champion. They've won
former
championship
team. And I got this video up when Gabe was first born. Yeah, it was them. We lost to Virginia, and I posted a video of Gabe crying. He wasn't crying about the game, but I posted it. He was in his little walker thing, and I posted him crying. I said, this is Gabe's reaction to the Tigers getting beat. And it was to Virginia, I think. Yeah, when Paxton was here. So to come out there and take that team and beat the brakes out of them dudes, that was a ranked team, bro. Like, I don't care anything about you playing at home, any of that. You blew out a ranked team by 20 points.
Held them to 22 points in the second half.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't have any more hard games left until you play FAU. Every game the rest of the season, your favorite. Including that home game against FAU, you're probably going to be favorite too.
The final game, the away game, they're not. But I don't – I mean, we're talking coming out of this non-con with two losses, going into the conference season. I mean, the sky's the limit for this team.
Real. And we'll talk about more about that tomorrow. And also another, which we thought was real anticlimactic because it never was as big as it was getting presented to be. The whole thing with the arena funding and Liberty Bowl or Simmons Bowl, Liberty Stadium. That, we found out the University of Memphis will get the controlling rights of that.
Right.
Not sure when that happens. Shout out to Fred Smith. Shout out to Harold Greer. That's his name?
Harold Grader.
Yeah, Harold Grader. And
Fred Jones.
Yeah, the Liberty Bowl team. The Southern Arizona Classic team. Then they got an 8-year extension on both of their leases.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, man. Good times in the city of Memphis, man. Looks like everybody's gonna stick around, man. Good times in the city for sure, man. And just, man, somebody put a tweet to me the other day, yesterday, and it said simply, man, we're blessed. And we have a transcending player in Ja Morant that we really saw. You gotta think, bro. Guys like Ja, Jaren Bain haven't even hit their grown man years yet. They're still a couple years away from that. You know what I mean? And just to see that how bright your future is with those three guys, we're blessed. We're blessed in this city, man. We have freaking Penny Hardaway as our basketball coach, who's an icon, just an icon in this city for sure. That's the coach of the college team here. You know what I mean? And now we have this. It's gonna be an interesting project to see what this thing looks like with the U of M having these controlling rights to that stadium, what that looks like, and how it affects things going forward. Got a brand new remodeled, spiffy edition of the stadium coming soon, so we'll see what that looks like. But just a great day for the city, man. Great day of positivity for the city of Memphis for sure, man. But like I said, this is our first ever live show, first ever live Bluff City Media show here in the Bluff City Media Studios, man. Good times. Got an exciting show tomorrow. I'm not going to say who my guest is. You guys will see that tomorrow. Very, very, very exciting guest. Another person who's a very, just a staple of the city, man. Just a staple of the city.
He's just a legend all the way around.
Yeah,
man.
great guy. Can talk. A guy I love to talk basketball with at all times. A guy can pick up the phone and just shoot him a text, and we'll talk hoops any time of day. So much to the point that our original time to record was during the Grizzlies game.
Yeah,
that's something he's not able to do, unfortunately, tomorrow. So I'll have a conversation with him. I kind of dropped a hint at who it might be, but we'll see you guys Friday at noon, man, for a great show. This is a good one for Daniel Greer, host of Grizz 901. Check out him and my boy Nate Quarles after every Grizzlies game. Great show those guys have. Shout out to Daniel Greer for sure. Shout out to my boy Paris Sharkey, man, enjoying himself somewhere in the Barbados, eating tomatoes,
hey, guess
cheese,
what?
eggs, and potatoes. Whatever he eating.
Paris was in the comment section
What did
today,
he say,
man. He's watching,
why
man.
you watching us, man?
That's what I said, man. Get on the beach,
man. Got your wife out there, man, on the beach, man. What you watching the beach for, man? Bro, get on the beach. But yeah, so shout out to my boy Paris, man. We shout out to the whole Anthony Sain show kind of team, like the crew. Me, you, Paris, and Greer are kind of
we love it, man.
Yeah, we're kind of part of the whole squad here, man. So shout out to all y'all, man. And yeah, go join the Discord too. $4.99. Y'all go check it out.
Check out bluffcitymerch.com.
Yeah, Bluff City Merch. Go check it out. Yeah, man, for sure though. For sure. But this is the last one before the holidays. Right? No, we got one more. Friday.
One more.
Well, last one before the holidays will be on Friday. But yeah, we appreciate y'all chiming in. All the people who stuck with us. This is fun, man. This is fun for sure. Like I said, you want this to be a permanent thing. DM Zach Thomas of Bluff City Media. Your donations.
Buy a bunch of merch.
Yeah, buy a bunch of merch, and it could be a reality.
And then we can make that a reality.
If you want to see this a live show every week around this time of day, that's probably it would take a lot. Just be honest with y'all. Because this is not my job. This is not my day job. I do have that's what's tripped me out so much about the people who are criticizing me with the question I asked. It's like this ain't my day job, man. Like I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do this stuff or to go into games and all those type of things. But man, I don't care what y'all. Like I'm not freaking none of these dudes, man. Like I don't. Anyway, but yeah, man. But it's been a fun week. I appreciate the engagements. Literally, looking forward to my next Twitter check coming out in a few weeks. See what that bad boy looks like because the engagements ran up, dog. The engagements were running up for sure. But Kenny, I appreciate you, man, coming in today. Happy holidays to everybody. We got one more show before Christmas. It's gonna be a big one tomorrow. We're about to slide about this joint, man. We'll see you guys Friday, and we up out of here.
That this team, as it sits right now, no Jordan Brown, no Naquan Tomlin, they are capable of being a round of 32, maybe even a Sweet 16 team. They just went on the road and beat a top 25 team in the country with what they have right now, with a front court consisting of Malcolm Dandridge and Nick Jordan, and that's it.
That is it.
If Memphis
they played some small ball against A&M pretty successfully.
They did. If this team is able to get Naquan Tomlin in the fold, then that preseason ceiling that we were talking about
right there
is back. Because I just think that this team, even without an extra big or without adding any other pieces, they are a really, really good top 25 quality team.
But they're not.
But they don't have that extended ceiling that they would have had with DeAndre Williams or Jordan Brown or someone else in another piece in that front 100%. Court. Because that is their weakness now.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What a huge week from can we call them the Three Kings? Can we replace the old Three Kings with the new Three Kings?
Well, they were four kings, though.
Yeah, but these three are better than the four.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
The three being David Jones, Javon Quinterly, and Caleb Mills. Through these last two games on the road, both in Raucous Arenas, they've combined, do you know how many points they've combined for?
I don't remember the number you actually talked about.
I know, I told you.
Very briefly. I don't remember the number. I do remember it being staggering.
Timothy's memory was 126 combined points in the last two matchups. That's 63 a ball game between the three of those fellas. David Jones leading the way. He was American Conference Player of the Week, averaging 26, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 steals in 2 road games. Dropped 23 on VCU with 8 boards, and then dropped 29 yesterday in College Station. keep that up, we're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about?
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.